You're now listening to All Hog Sports, covering all Arkansas Razorback sports, such as football, basketball, baseball, and much more. Now, here's your host for today's show, Sam Stimpson.
Arkansas traveled to the Plains and defeated the Auburn Tigers 97-85, a 12-point win on the road to open up SEC play was rather impressive for the Razorbacks and company. Now for these recaps for SEC play, I'm starting a new segment of the good, bad, and ugly. The good. We closed the game out really strong. Led for 39 minutes of the game, made it easier to close out the game. Keep your mind, last year we had a good amount of times where into the closing stretch of the game, we either made the game way too close or we ended up losing the game. And it got a little close around the 6-minute mark, but the Razorbacks pulled away to win by 12 points. And this was a concern of last year's team, and I don't think it is anymore for this season. We're 9-0 moving in to 2021. Happy New Year, everybody. First time since 1993 to 1994, and we all know what happened during that season. We got the natty. Not saying anything's going to happen like that, but it's an interesting stat, to say the least. All wins have been double digits. Closing games has been very impressive, and to do this in SEC play was great for the Razorbacks. Bad, though, was 3-point defense. Auburn shot 51.7% from 3, and this was kind of hard for me to put into bad because I don't know if we were really that bad at 3-point defense or every single shot that was contested for Auburn just went in. I mean, they did a fantastic job shooting from the floor as well, 51.9%. And when your team shoots that good off the floor and off threes, you're expected to probably win the game with those stats. But when the Razorbacks are able to create, double digits, 15-plus turnovers, that is the difference maker for this team. So I feel like the 3-point defense was kind of bailed out by other aspects of the game. I'm not really too concerned with, though, because I think a lot of those Auburn guys are just talented shooters. And I felt like every shot they threw up just went in the net. I also think the lack of defense had a little bit due to Justin Smith's injury. The forward for the Razorbacks was put in a boot mid-game. He got hurt, tried to go back out there, but then by the end of it, he was put in a boot, and Musselman updated his status for the Razorbacks, and I'll talk about that when we preview Mizzou. But for the ugly, nothing was really ugly for the Razorbacks. I felt like the game looked really clean. We played solid team basketball throughout the whole night, and there really wasn't anything that looked ugly. I guess you can say 2 or 3 shots. Sure, the shot selection was bad, but that's just college basketball for you. I mean, there's always going to be times where shot selection isn't 100%, so I would not put that in the ugly category. In the game, though, 5 guys in double digits. You got Vinover at 17, Moses Moody at 16, Desi Sills with a career-high 23 points, and J.D. Note with 21 points, and 19 of 21 were in the second half. Big-time late game impact to help close the Razorbacks in this game. He also dunked last minute against Auburn as well. Just big time late game force. Makes you close that game strong, win SEC games. Points leader though, Desi Sills, career high 23 like I said. 8 out of 15 from the floor and great threes to end the first half. I thought that got a lot of momentum going forward into the second half, and to close out with a 5 or 6 point lead at half due to all those threes at the end really helped the Razorbacks put on a show in the second half. I felt like the momentum was just there. Rebounds leader was also Desi Sills. Assist leader, though, was Jalen Tate at 4 assists. This guy just does it all. I mean, you look at his ability to shoot and his ability to create plays for the team. Just what he does with the chemistry is just so solid. Very important role in the offense. And just a guy that really doesn't show up on the stat sheet as much as he should. Devo Davis. He has been so good for the Razorbacks in SEC play. I know it's only been one game, but I think this trend is going to continue. 4 late deflections in that game when we started putting more guards in as of late, just rotating differently than what we normally do with 7-8. We put in Devo Davis. I think we had 11 total guys go in, but obviously Smith's injury changed a lot of the game playing up and the game scheming. Big part in the closing minutes, and I feel like every game of freshmen is going to play well just because we have so many talented freshmen in Robinson, Davis, Jalen Williams, Moody. Moody's always going to play well because he's getting a ton of minutes. I just think this class is very talented, and to see them have impacts in SEC play is going to be a trend that continues. Limiting the Razorbacks offensively, only giving up 9 turnovers, but they had 13 assists. Team basketball and rebounding was 34 to 34, and I felt like this, really wasn't truly accurate to the Arkansas Razorbacks rebounding, how good they are. I feel like this wasn't true to the Arkansas Razorbacks efficiency at rebounding because of Justin Smith's injury. I felt like it could have gone a different way, but it's 50-50 rebound. As long as you put yourself in a position to win games, I don't think there's too much to complain about. Another thing we did, though, is we played really well against the other team's top player. Justin Powell was 1 for 8 with 4 points, 7 turnovers, and only 6 rebounds. And just limiting the other guy's top player is going to be important when we play teams that are very top-heavy. I don't know when we'll start seeing that, but we've done that against Oral Roberts and all of those other mid-majors. We've done this against an SEC team like Auburn. Obviously, though, they had guys like Allen Flanagan and Jalen Williams who played really good for them because, when you limit one guy, they have so many more talented shooters. And I think Auburn just doesn't have a true point guard because of Sharif Cooper eligibility. So I feel like that kind of changed up the Razorbacks' defensive game plan. But to be able to adapt to that and still get the win was impressive. Very solid road win for the Razorbacks. Big game for the Razorbacks against number 12 ranked Missouri on Saturday at Bud Walton Arena. There's going to be 4,000 fans in attendance, at least at some max capacity. I think we will get there, though I think it'll be a loud environment. 11 a.m. on CBS. Big game for Musselman and crew. This would be their first shot at an AP Top 25 win. Now, for Arkansas, a big point in this game would be Justin Smith. I was talking about it earlier, but here's the update with his ankle injury. This was Eric Musselman in today's press conference on Thursday. He said, quote, "To my knowledge, nothing is broken. Let's say he's questionable. Don't think it's something long-term. It's a deep bruise." Now, that was from Eric Musselman, so he's obviously questionable, and I guess it'll just be a situation that we see on Saturday when they release the starting 5. He's a much-needed guy, though, especially defensively. 9.1 rebounds per game, finishing shots around the rim, and just playing that forward role. Be great to have him for this game. Moses Moody, though, is a guy to watch out. Points leader at this team at 16.8 points per game, 49.5% from the floor, and 40.5% from deep. Pretty impressive numbers there. He's a shooter, but he also works with the team really good. JD Note has done really good off of the bench. Comeback versus Oral Roberts. Closed out the Auburn game really strong like I talked about earlier. I think a lot of people are concerned with Note's shot selection, but it's not a concern because he makes a lot of them. If you're going to take contested shots and make them, people aren't going to complain. I think people are overreacting when he misses like one shot. I mean, that's going to happen to all kinds of guys. You're not going to get every single shot that you make. If you need to, put points on the board and put 97 up, you're going to have to take some of those riskier shots, and when they go in, you get rewarded. So Note has done an incredible job off the bench. Watch out for him against Missouri. Jalen Tate is the assist leader at 4.6. He's like the important piece in like any recipe. He blends everything together for the Razorbacks offensively, defensively, and just it works out so much better when he's on the court. And when he's not on the court, I feel like some of the freshmen are almost in that position. There's just so much talent and depth on this team. I could go all day just talking about how good this roster is. But the starting 5 for the Razorbacks would be forward Connor Vanover, rebound leader on the team at 7.3. You probably knew that. 7.3 rebounds per game is also equivalent to his height at 7'3". Now, forward Justin Smith or forward James Faxon, or maybe we might play small ball with a guard. This is a position to watch out for when they release the starting 5 on Twitter, probably a little bit before the game. On Saturday morning, is it going to be Vance? We're going to play small ball, or is it going to be Smith? Don't really know what's going on at that position, but guard Moses Moody and guard Dizzy Sills. Dizzy Sills has been so good at getting those contested shots, and just when they're needed most, he's been able to get those, and then obviously guard Jalen Tate. Now, things the Razorbacks need to do. They need to continue to pass the ball really well. 42 assists on the last 90 field goals. That is a 46% assist rate when you look at the last 3 games and the field goals we made. Now you compare that to Missouri. They have 19 assists on 57 field goals in the last 3 games, 33%. Now, the Razorbacks obviously have this in their favor to play better team basketball and get the ball passing around more, and then limit Missouri's ability to pass the ball, because that's not something they have done that good this year. But we've been winning the turnover battle all year. We did against Auburn. Arkansas is 21st in the nation on limiting offensive turnovers, and Missouri is 282nd in forcing turnovers. This was a big point in the Auburn game, and I feel like that's why the Razorbacks won by double digits. Missouri is not a good team at forcing turnovers. The Razorbacks can win the stat line. It's going to be easier for the Razorbacks on Saturday. Right after this break, I'll be talking about Missouri and then my game prediction. Now, Missouri is number 12 in the AP Top 25, sitting at 6-1 with wins over Oregon and Illinois, who were top 25 at the time that they won. Those obviously have a big point to do with their ranking. However, they just came off of a tough loss to open SEC play to the Volunteers at home, 73-53. And then the week before that, they squeaked by Bradley 54-53 on a last-second free throw. They've been struggling to shoot, though, especially recently, putting up 54 and 53 in each game. However, they average 71.9 points per game, and they are 43% from the floor. But the big point is they are only 27% from deep, and Arkansas has a better three-point defense than a lot of SEC teams. I know it wasn't on display against Auburn. I think that was an outlier in that statistic. Razorbacks limiting three-pointers. It's going to be a little bit easier when you have a team that's not making as much. Missouri from the line, though, is 72%. Now, a big guy on this Missouri team is guard Xavier Pinson. It's 24.3% from 3. So, again, getting a guard out there to limit his ability to make those three-pointers is important, as if you can play tight defense, you're not going to let some of these lower shooters put up higher numbers, because you're going to be close and involved in that. 80% from the line, though, so you don't want to foul him in those close situations. Team points leader at 13.9, and he's 37.5 from the floor. He's also the assist leader at 3.1. He makes his offense work, kind of like a Jalen Tate guy, passing the ball around, scoring as well. Guard Drew Smith, averaging 12.1 points per game, 34.8% from the floor. Guard Mark Smith is obviously the best shooter on this team, 12.7 points per game, 47% from floor, and the best three guy on this team at 43.8 from deep. If there's a guy that the Razorbacks need to guard the heaviest, especially around that three-point arc, because it kind of got exposed against Auburn, is guard Mark Smith. That's the one guy I think that will lead Missouri in scoring at the end of the night, just because I don't know if that three-point defense is going to be there for the Razorbacks. But forward, Jeremiah Tillman is the rebounding leader, and he's also 6'10", so compare that to Vanover at 7'3". Which one's going to have the advantage? We'll see on Saturday. But that right there from Pinson, Drew and Mark Smith, and then Jeremiah Tillman is 65% of the scoring from Missouri. So if we're able to limit the top 4 guys on that team, it's going to be a lot easier for the Razorbacks to control this game and come off with a win. Starting 5, though, for the Missouri Tigers, if they go with the same starting 5 against Tennessee. Not sure if they're going to change anything, but this was what it was versus Tennessee. Guard Drew Smith, guard Mark Smith, forward Jeremiah Tillman Jr., guard Xavier Pinson, and forward Kobe Brown.
It's time for Sam's prediction.
I'm rolling with the Hogs here in a pretty high-scoring game. Got the Hogs winning 81-77. Guys I like in this game. I like Connor Vanover. I think he's going to match up really well against a team like Missouri, who has struggled to put points on the board. If you look at the game against Bradley, Bradley has a lot of tall forwards, and they struggled to shoot against those and rebound against them. So I like Vanover's game here. And then I also like Desi Sills. I just think his ability to make shots in those contested situations against a better defensive team like Missouri is going to come up clutch for the Razorbacks. Those two guys, I think, will be leading in points, respectively, for Sills, and then rebounds for Vanovers. What you need to do to win, though, win the turnover battle. I talked about it earlier. Arkansas has done pretty good forcing turnovers and limiting them, while Missouri has not done too well. So you win the turnover battle, it's going to be big. Got to play team basketball for the Razorbacks. I think Arkansas has the edge here again.